Good morning. I want you to take a moment and really feel this truth. Your life was never meant to be lived in confusion, hesitation, or fear. There is a voice, a divine voice, ready to guide you, ready to lead you. If only you would surrender control. Every day, every moment, you have the opportunity to say, Lord, I trust you. Take the lead. Guide me one step at a time. Today, we will explore how to tap into that guidance, to align your steps with purpose, and to walk boldly in the destiny that was designed just for you. Step into divine direction. Let God lead your every move. Have you ever wondered why so many people move through life tirelessly working, striving, pushing, yet they feel lost, confused, or off course? It's because they are walking without guidance. They are trying to navigate a life that was meant to be led without the leader. But you see, life was never designed for you to figure it out alone. There is a voice, a divine voice, that knows the path you were created for, a voice that can lead you step by step into the fullness of your destiny. The question is, are you willing to listen? Every step you take without God's direction is a step in uncertainty. You may think you are moving forward, but what if every effort, every decision, every plan you are pursuing is not aligned with your purpose? What if there is a better way, a higher way, a divine path waiting for you, and you are missing it because you are trying to lead yourself? That is why it is not enough to pray in desperation or only when trouble comes. You must pray with intention every morning. You must say, Lord, I surrender this day, these decisions, this life. Take the lead. Guide me. Understand this. Guidance is not about avoiding responsibility. No, it is about partnership. God does not want to do life for you. He wants to do life with you. Imagine walking through a dense forest alone. Every step uncertain, every shadow frightening, every turn confusing. Now imagine a guide, an expert, someone who knows every path, every danger, every hidden treasure, walking beside you. Every step illuminated, every decision clarified. That is what divine guidance does. And when you allow God to lead, when you truly step into His direction, suddenly confusion becomes clarity, fear becomes courage, and the impossible begins to make sense. But here is the truth most people miss. The first step of guidance is surrender. Surrender is not weakness, it is strength. It is the acknowledgement that your vision, your timing, your understanding is limited, but God's vision is eternal, His timing is perfect, and His wisdom is limitless. Every morning when you pray for guidance, you are not just asking for direction, you are positioning yourself for divine alignment. You are creating a space in your life where miracles can occur, opportunities can appear, and doors you did not even know existed can open. And this is the power of stepping into divine direction, one step at a time, not rushing, not forcing, not worrying, just following, trusting, listening, allowing God to take the lead. Because the moment you take the reins, the moment you try to force your own way, is the moment you step into confusion again. But when you let Him lead, oh, the life that awaits, the clarity, the purpose, the destiny that cannot be denied. So today I ask you, are you ready to step into that direction? Are you ready to let go, to trust, to follow? Because there is a next level, a higher plane, a place where your life can truly flourish. And it begins when you say yes and allow the Lord to guide every move you make. Morning prayers that unlock God's guidance daily. Let me ask you something. How do you start your day? Do you wake up and rush straight into tasks, into the chaos, into the noise of life? Or do you pause intentionally and invite the presence of God to lead you? You see, the way you begin your morning sets the trajectory for your entire day. There is power in the first few moments of your day, a power that can either set you on the path of confusion or place you directly into divine guidance. The question is, are you seizing it or letting it slip by unnoticed? Every morning, when you pray with intention, when you speak directly to the one who knows every detail of your life, something supernatural begins to happen. Doors begin to open, ideas begin to align, decisions that once seemed impossible suddenly become clear, because prayer is not just about asking, it's about listening. Yes, listening. Are you listening? Or are you just repeating words out of habit? When you pray, truly pray, you are creating a conversation with the one who holds your destiny in his hands. And when you listen, guidance is given, clarity is provided, and every step forward becomes illuminated with purpose. But here is the thing many people overlook: consistency. One morning of prayer may not transform your life, but the discipline of daily prayer builds a life that is anchored in wisdom, insight, and divine direction. Every morning when you say, "Lord, guide me, lead me, take the reins of my life," you are not just speaking words. You are programming your day to align with your purpose. You are inviting the Creator of the universe to walk with you through every challenge, every decision, every encounter. And trust me, when God walks with you, obstacles are no longer obstacles. They become opportunities, lessons, and stepping stones to a higher place. Think about this. How many people struggle, not because they lack resources, talent, or even opportunity, but because they lack guidance? They are moving, yes, but in circles, spinning their wheels, exhausted, frustrated, wondering why nothing seems to work. That is the difference between a life led by human effort and a life led by divine instruction. And here's the beauty: guidance is always available, waiting for the moment you intentionally pause, pray, and invite God into your morning. So, the real question is, will you make prayer your first priority, or will it remain the last resort? Will you allow the first moments of your day to be the launch pad of your destiny, or will you let distraction and routine steal it away? The choice is yours, but the results are eternal. Because the moment you embrace morning prayer as the key to divine guidance, your steps become purposeful, your decisions become precise, and your life begins to operate on a higher plane. And when your day is aligned with God's direction from the very start, that is when true transformation begins. But there is another layer, another secret to unlocking the fullness of this guidance, and it is waiting in the next step. Surrender and lead, allowing the Lord to direct your path. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to want control? How natural it feels to make your own plans, to decide the direction, to think, "I can handle this on my own." Yet, how often does that lead to frustration, confusion, and dead ends? The truth is this: life was never meant to be controlled by human understanding alone. You were created to walk in partnership with the one who sees the beginning and the end, the one who knows every twist, every turn, every unseen challenge before it appears. But the question is, are you willing to surrender? Are you willing to release the need to lead and allow the Lord to direct your path? Surrender is not weakness. In fact, it is the ultimate strength. It is the courage to acknowledge that your vision is limited, your timing is imperfect, and your understanding is finite. And yet, there is one whose vision is perfect, whose timing is flawless, whose understanding is infinite, and he is ready to take the lead. When you surrender your plans, your expectations, even your desires, you are not giving up power, you are receiving guidance. You are opening the door to a life that operates not on struggle, but on divine alignment. Consider this. Every time you try to lead without God, you encounter resistance, confusion, and missed opportunities. But when you allow Him to lead, paths open, clarity comes, and the impossible suddenly becomes possible. Doors you never thought would open. Relationships you thought were broken are restored. Opportunities you never imagined present themselves. And the more you practice surrender, the more you begin to recognize His hand in everything. You begin to move in rhythm with divine timing, every step purposeful, every decision inspired, every moment significant. But here is the critical part. Surrender requires trust. Trust is not passive, it is active. It is saying, Lord, I may not understand, I may not see the full picture, but I trust you, I release my control, and I follow you. And when you do, something remarkable happens. Peace replaces anxiety, direction replaces confusion, and confidence replaces fear. You are no longer a passenger of chance. You become a participant in destiny. Yet, many stop short. They surrender only partially, keeping control of the most important parts, and wonder why they still face setbacks. True surrender is total, complete, and consistent. Every morning, every decision, every plan must begin with a simple yet profound declaration. Lord, take the lead. Guide me one step at a time. And as you do, life begins to flow in a way that is unmistakably divine, because you are no longer struggling against your own limitations. You are walking in the fullness of His design. And just when you think you understand surrender, there is another layer, a higher level of alignment, a deeper principle that transforms guidance into breakthrough. And it is the next step you must embrace. One step at a time, walking in God's perfect timing. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by life, by the magnitude of your dreams, by the weight of your responsibilities? You look at the mountain before you and wonder, how will I ever climb it? How will I ever reach my destiny? The answer is simple yet profound. You do not need to conquer it all at once. God's guidance is not hurried. It is perfectly timed. Every great journey, every divine purpose unfolds one step at a time. But the question is, are you willing to trust that process? Too often, we rush, we force, we try to take control because we cannot see the next step. We look ahead at the entirety of the path, and it frightens us, overwhelms us, paralyzes us. Yet, God's plan for your life is revealed in stages. Each day presents a new opportunity to take the next step, to move in alignment with His guidance, to follow His lead. When you focus on the next step rather than the entire journey, fear diminishes, clarity increases, and progress becomes inevitable. Consider this: the caterpillar does not become a butterfly in a single moment. It transforms gradually, step by step, stage by stage, in perfect timing. And so it is with your life. Every prayer, every act of obedience, every decision made in alignment with divine guidance is a step that brings you closer to the fullness of your destiny. The problem is, most people want instant results, immediate transformation, instant clarity, and when it does not happen, they give up. But the secret is patience, trust, and the discipline to take the next step every single day. And here's what makes this principle so powerful. Walking one step at a time requires focus. Focus on the present moment. on the step immediately in front of you, not the 110 steps ahead. Listen for guidance for today, for this decision, for this action, because God's timing is always perfect. What He reveals today is enough to carry you to the next step tomorrow. You do not need to understand the whole journey, just the next move. And when you take that move in faith, you set in motion the next series of steps that will align with His plan. Yet, taking one step at a time also demands surrender. You must release the need to control the outcome, to predict the future, to map the entire path. Each step is a trust exercise, a declaration that says, Lord, I may not see the full picture, but I will move where you lead, when you lead, and how you lead. And as you do, you will discover that divine timing is never late, never early, always perfect. And just when you begin to grasp the beauty of walking step by step, you realize there is another layer, another principle that turns these steps into breakthroughs, that transforms small, faithful actions into monumental victories. And it is waiting in the next step. Divine leadership in your life. When God takes the wheel, have you ever tried to drive a car blindfolded? Of course, that sounds absurd, dangerous even. Yet, how often do we try to navigate life without allowing God to take the wheel? We think we know the way, we trust our own understanding, we make decisions based on what seems right to us, but the results often leave us frustrated, exhausted, and far from our purpose. The truth is this: leadership is not about control, it is about direction. And the greatest leadership you can ever experience is divine leadership. But the question is, are you ready to let go of the wheel and allow God to steer? When God leads, everything changes. You begin to see your circumstances differently. Obstacles that once seemed insurmountable become opportunities for growth. Challenges that intimidated you become lessons in trust. You start to realize that the timing, the strategy, the wisdom, all of it is far greater than what you could have imagined on your own. You are no longer relying on your limited insight. You are operating under guidance that is limitless, perfect, and precise. But here is the critical point. Divine leadership requires surrender. You cannot lead for yourself and allow God to lead at the same time. There must be a transfer of authority, a declaration that says, Lord, you take the lead. You guide my decisions. You direct my steps. Think about this. The greatest leaders, the people who changed history, the individuals who achieved extraordinary purpose, all understood the principle of divine leadership. They submitted to guidance greater than themselves. They followed direction they could not always see, trusting that every move was intentional, every step ordained, every path designed for their ultimate good. And the result? They experienced breakthroughs that seemed impossible, doors opened that were previously locked, and their influence multiplied beyond measure. That is the power of allowing God to lead. But here is where most people stumble. They want leadership, but they want it on their terms. They want control over the process, over the timing, over the outcome. And when God's direction does not align with their expectations, frustration and doubt creep in. True divine leadership, however, is never limited by your understanding. It moves according to a higher wisdom, a perfect plan, and an unfailing purpose. When you submit to it, you find peace in uncertainty, confidence in the unknown, and clarity in the midst of confusion. Yet, allowing God to take the wheel is only the beginning. Because leadership is not just about being guided, it is about responding to that guidance with obedience. It is about taking action on the instructions you receive. Even when the path is unclear, even when the steps are difficult, that is when direction turns into destiny, when guidance becomes breakthrough, and when your life begins to reflect the fullness of divine purpose. And just when you begin to embrace divine leadership fully, you realize there is yet another level, a principle that amplifies guidance into supernatural results, transforming obedience into unstoppable and momentum. And it is waiting in the next step. From confusion to clarity, praying for God's guidance. Every morning, have you ever woken up feeling lost, unsure of the decisions ahead, wondering which way to turn, what step to take next? That feeling, that uncertainty is not a mistake. It is an invitation. An invitation to stop relying on your own understanding, to stop following the noise of the world, and to turn deliberately to the one who knows every path, every outcome, every detail of your life. Every morning when you pray with purpose, you are saying, Lord, I choose your wisdom over my confusion. I choose your clarity over my doubt. Guide me step by step every day. Think about it. Life without divine guidance is like sailing in the dark, without a compass, without a map, without the stars to navigate. You may move, yes, you may even make progress. But are you moving toward your destiny or just drifting endlessly in circles? That is why morning prayer is not optional. It is the very lifeline that connects you to clarity. It is the moment when heaven speaks into your situation, when direction replaces hesitation, and when your steps align with purpose. But here is the challenge. Clarity does not come to those who are distracted, who rush, who rely on yesterday's plans. Clarity comes to those who pause, focus, and say, Lord, I cannot do this alone. Take the lead. Guide my steps today. Every step guided by God is a step away from confusion and a step toward destiny. And the beauty of it is, clarity begins in the small, faithful actions. Praying first thing in the morning, listening intently, responding obediently. You see, guidance is a process, not a moment. It is revealed step by step, decision by decision, moment by moment. But here is what most people miss. Waiting on clarity is not passive, it is active faith. It is choosing to move under divine instruction, trusting that what is revealed today will be enough for the next step tomorrow. It is trusting God's timing, God's wisdom, and God's perfect knowledge. Yet, even when clarity comes, it often comes in ways you do not expect. It may not be the answer you planned, the door you wanted, the path you imagined, but it is the answer you need, the door that opens at the right time, the path designed to take you exactly where you are meant to go. That is the power of daily guidance. When you pray for it, seek it, and follow it, you no longer operate in fear, indecision, or confusion. You operate in purpose, precision, and peace. And now, imagine living every day with that clarity. Imagine waking each morning with a mind free of doubt, a heart aligned with destiny, and steps directed by divine wisdom. Imagine the confidence, the peace, the unstoppable momentum that comes when your life is fully led by God. You are no longer drifting. You are no longer lost. You are no longer stumbling in the dark. You are walking in the light of guidance, step by step, decision by decision, moment by moment. So today, I challenge you. Pray with intention. Listen with focus. Follow with faith. Allow God to take the lead in your life. Let every decision be guided, every step aligned, every action purposeful. Do not rush. Do not force. Do not rely on yesterday's understanding. Step into clarity. Walk in destiny. And as you do, your life will shine as a testimony of divine direction, unstoppable purpose, and eternal significance. Because when God leads, confusion ends, clarity begins, fear disappears, courage rises, doubt fades, faith prevails, darkness retreats, light illuminates, and your life, fully surrendered, fully guided, fully aligned, becomes unstoppable.